Okay. Goodbye.
Well, I guess. I guess we'll have to go with our alternative guest.
That was groundbreaking. Yes.
So, welcome to
Masteria! Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground. Trouble! Oh, we got trouble! Right here in River City. With a capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. We've surely got trouble. Right here in River City. Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Hi, and welcome to Ward 13 with John Hopwood. This is, as you can see, the election show. Can we get a wide angle? Brendan?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Can we get a wide angle so people can see the entirety? Yeah, and we have Miriam. Marion, I hope I have that right.
Miriam, but
Oh, I always want to call you Miriam.
yeah, it's Miriam.
Oh, so you're not going to like the clip that's coming up.
I'm like not bothered. People call me Marion. I mean, it's not like they're calling me a dirty word.
We've always I can never get your name right, which is, the dyslexia doesn't explain it. I think I'm just turning into an old fart. On the last show, Erich Pilcher is here. We did the casino, and I was saying stuff that patently wasn't true. Well, like I would say something about the 1991 National League playoff series, and I got some of the stuff wrong, even though I didn't think I was. What are you doing there, Erich? Is that the dog?
That is the dog being a nuisance. Yes.
Oh, okay. We're going to bring you in because we're going to do the baseball section, but you can always chime in on some of the stuff. How are things in Iowa, Erich Pilcher?
Things are well. We are today 75 and sunny. So weather-wise, we're really good.
You're not having any trouble out there?
No, not yet. I mean, usually we've had our first snow by now.
Oh, we are having trouble here in Manchester. We're having trouble all over the country. See, we're Democrats, Erich, and it looks like the air is going out of our balloon rather rapidly. Yeah, every 12 hours on 538.com, which is the best prognosticator I've seen. I've been following it for over 8 years. So I used to write, for Yahoo about the primaries. Every 12 hours, the Republicans gain another point in taking the U.S. Senate. They're up to 52% now, chance. A month ago, it was 69% Democrat that were going to keep the Senate, and it just eroded. It is a red wave. I haven't seen anything like this since October of 1980, when Jimmy Carter, another ineffective president, was undermined by inflation and a crappy foreign policy. So. This is a joke here. That's Ted Gatzis, the former mayor of Manchester, and an executive counselor. And that's Stinky Gerard, or as I had him in my satirical ad, Ricky Garbage. But there's a chance that that homunculus, in my opinion, 'cause it's just my opinion, because Gatz has sued me.
Oh no.
Gatz has covered up a high school rape, and it came out during the 2017 election, and he lied like hell, and then he sued me and the late Bill Cashin, who they have a big portrait of in the city hall, to shut us up during the election. And when the judge finally threw out the lawsuit, said, this guy's a liar. Shelbert says he's a liar, which was we had petitioned, I'd written a petition for Bill to City Hall that the Board of Aldermen should investigate what happened. We found out later at the same time, they're talking, about this cover-up. He covered up the stabbing of a school principal. And that's a story in itself. You couldn't even find that information. It wasn't reported on the normal police reports and stuff like that. And the information was sent up to Concord, where a right-wing Republican was head of the education department. Well, they kind of sat on the information. And then this being New Hampshire, or increasingly anywhere else, nobody followed up. Nobody really cared. Stinky was, of course, back in 2013, he was the Little Mel sex scandal, where he tried to, how could you say it in a delicate way? Yes, you weren't here. Yes, you were, but you were in Bedford.
I was in Bedford. So
Well, he tried to inveigle online this former sex industry worker to have sex with him in a very vulgar way. Now, Mr. Gerard is a Catholic, a very conservative one, and always talking about it, and is opposed to abortion. Yet he asked little Mel whether she had her IUD, which an intrauterine device by the Catholic Church is considered an abortion-inducing device. But see, that doesn't bother Republicans. Herschel Walker and all the abortions he's paid for in Georgia, Trump with his abortion codicils and his non-disclosure agreements.
Well,
Oh, did you have something to say, Eric?
yeah, I wanted to kind of chime in on the Herschel Walker situation. Miriam knows this, and I'm sure you know this, John. I am a conservative.
Yes.
Herschel Walker is not qualified for the Senate.
He's a Heisman Trophy winner.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, come on.
No, let's look at it here. He just isn't. The only reason he's gonna win is because of what you just said. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's running in Georgia, and they're just football crazy there. If anyone hears this man talk about policy or things he's gonna do, they would find out very quickly that he has no idea what's going to happen.
I think that you're just discriminating against him because he has multiple personality disorder, or so he claimed about 15 years ago. Well, he was doing some bad things, before we found out about the abortions he was paying for. But don't you remember, he did claim he had multiple personality disorder. I think they call it something else now, the DSM-5. Yes. So, it's a new bill, something new so they can bill.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Right. And suddenly Herschel Walker now is a U.S. Senate candidate. And, Trump, I believe, Eric, because I remember when Trump had his team, the New Jersey Generals, wasn't Herschel Walker on his team?
Yes, he was.
In the USFL. But
also, I believe Doug Flutie was the quarterback of that team as well.
That's right, and because he'd gotten drafted by Tampa, so
No, he got drafted by the Bears had him.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Yeah, the Bears had him, and they started him in a playoff game over Jim McMahon.
Oh, I was thinking Steve Young was in the USFL. He had been, Tampa had drafted him. Now we have to have the thing, the sports show.
Right.
Yeah, well,
I'm even more clueless
I'll be
about
quick.
sports
When the
than I am
USFL
about
folded,
politics.
Steve Young was actually on the Tampa Bay bench for 1 year. He was a backup, and they pretty much said that their GM said, this man cannot play quarterback in the NFL.
Well, he proved them wrong, right? Yes, he was part of the 49ers dynasty when I was out in California. 5 Super Bowls. Most of them won by Joe Montana, though.
All of them except
Notre Dame, right? Yeah, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Montana, when he was at Notre Dame, was treated like a king. But we're not going to get into that because I want to call you Marion.
Miriam.
Miriam.
It's
You know, I
all
know
good.
your name's Miriam, but you're being
It
called
rhymes
Marion.
With, it rhymes with delirium. So.
And also, you know, it turns out it brings up memories of Robert Preston and the Music Man. We have another clip, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And but
there's
our
not too
producer
many-
is
there
in the what would you call it, the boudoir, the crapper, the water closet, whatever we can call it at this time.
The privy.
The privy, or in England, the Jakes.
Oh, I haven't heard it called that.
When they translated part of Martin Luther's diary, and it was an Englishman, he was, creating Protestantism while he was out moving his bowels in the Jakes, and actually writes about it when he's not throwing an ink pot at the devil. Erich, do you have any commentary? I know, like me, you're a Protestant, that our overarching religion was created by a guy that did some of his best thinking in the outhouse.
I'm not going to go down that road.
It's true. He was an interesting man, Luther. Yes. Okay. So what are we talking about today besides the humiliation coming up for Democrats?
No, you mentioned a clip. I don't know.
All right. Are you back? Is
with
my director
politics,
back?
You mentioned politics and.
My director, are you back? I hear nothing.
No, it's silence. Oh,
I just heard the Jakes.
I saw. Yeah, that could be it.
There is just silence
Down the
here. I've
loop.
never heard it like that.
They call it the bog in Britain.
The bog, the
bog.
loo, the
Toilet.
and
I'm
the
going down the
Jakes, but
toilet.
that's ancient. That's
Yeah, I don't remember. I've
antiquated.
never heard that one before.
Can you run the George Carlin clip, please?
In the last 7 to 8 years, I began to develop a different comic voice and a different perspective. But they understand that it says we the people in that preamble. It doesn't say them the thises and those the that's. It says, hey.
We got on this boat.
And people who hate government are involved in a form of suicide because government is self-government. And if you hate the government, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the war against nature that mankind goes through. So I just said to myself, it's not going to get better, not in my lifetime. Let me enjoy this and get a little perverse about my commentary on it. In the last...
Okay, my question to you, Miriam, I'm going to say Marion, and to you, Erich, is it circling the drain time here, not just in America, but in the world? Erich, let's go with you first, because you are a Christian, and you might have a more positive look than, I'm sure you do too.
I just
Miriam.
am an overwhelming optimist all the time.
I
But
don't
let
know
Eric
if
go.
it's... That's hard. I think we definitely need some political reform within this country. As I get older, my main point is I'm sick of seeing people of this country used as political pawns. And it's just wrong. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We need to expect more out of our politicians. I grow tired of hearing, well, he's a politician, so it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to lie. It isn't okay to mislead. It isn't okay to use people to have the ends justify the means.
Okay, Miriam?
I hope not. I hope it's not circling the drain time. Erich, you said an awful lot of stuff that I actually agree with. We could be opposite ends in terms of politics and still, meet in the middle somewhere.
But see,
I don't
yeah.
want to believe that. I think there's a lot of great people, and I think that there's
There
a lot
are?
of good. Well, I see it anyway. I mean, I work at a school. I see people working so hard.
Well, that's what George Carlin said. He likes individuals. He doesn't like
Right,
groups of
right.
people. Because
Well,
even when there's two people, comes
the
the
kinda-
conformity.
That's the kind of psychology that I studied, actually. It's in social psychology, which is like larger groups, and it's attitudes, and it's voting behavior, and purchasing behavior, and a social identity. So it's, I'm in this group, so that's why I have this car, and that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff. And it's a
A
mess.
herd instinct, the herding of conformity. One of the things that psychological research shows is that a person knowing that something's false will. Well, that's not going to work. This is a new phone, so I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Just that's the one thing about an iPhone, huh? Well, it's actually different than the last one. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, a person will accept, within a group, will accept a lie in a controlled environment. They will accept something that they know is false to conform with the group dynamic. But see, when Erich was talking about politicians, one of the things Bill Cashin told me is the first thing a politician does is lie. But of course, there's different levels of lying, It's like, I guess in a relationship between a husband and wife or partners, you find out some little white lying will save you a lot of grief. Of course, then there's the whoppers, right?
Well, those are the ones that avoid
But
that.
she's not coming
And then
back.
to avoid the,
Send the
it's
couch
it's
here.
a whole level of drama nobody needs to get into, honestly.
I'm revoking my power of attorney. But politicians, they are born to lie, and as Plato, who predates
Well, I mean,
Aristotle, Plato, politics is what people do. And as I was saying to you, we're Homo sapiens sapiens, the hominid that knows and who knows. We're conscious. The first, one of the first modern consciousnesses in literature is Ulysses. He's the first person that tells lies in literature. And as the human brain developed, the ability to deceive became very much a part of human consciousness. But it's just not humans. In birds that are meat-eating birds, they know now have bicameral brains, two hemispheres. And like blackbirds like crows and that, they do all sorts of deceptive behavior. And of course, you go back to literature, which we wouldn't read now because they were racist. Uncle Remus and that. You'd have the totemic animals like the crow is a trickster and that. But yeah, I've been having an argument with these people that have a theater that the Song of the South's never coming back. You can wait forever. Which they didn't even show that when we were kids.
I saw that.
You saw Song of the South?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember. I mean, it was in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I thought we saw it at a movie theater.
Holy smoke.
I can't
Came out in
remember.
1947. It was actually, the screenwriter was a Marxist. Yeah, he got blacklisted.
Yeah.
He always liked Walt Disney, though. He said, at least he was honest. Walt said, I have to fire you. They got the goods on you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Eddie Mannix, who was this tough guy. MGM was created by a guy named Marcus Lowe, who ran an amusement park in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Because Sunday, they would be open, and people from New York, they had like blue laws or whatever. So the people would come over, and they'd have Nickelodeons. And he hired a guy named Eddie Mannix, who was an Irishman who had a gang, and was robbing him. So he hired him to be his security. And he later became a vice president of MGM.
Oh my.
And he's in a movie about when Superman kills himself. The Superman of my generation.
yeah.
Well, that's Christopher
of his-
Reeve, but there was the one George Reeve.
George
too.
Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, they made a movie of him. But he always said, we never had any trouble with the communists. We knew who they were. And because they were communists, you could pull the yoke on them a little. But they eventually got rid of them all. But Eric, people lies, and the politicians are masters of lying. How do they get elected? It was like I was talking about the poet Yevgeny Yevtushenko last week about how Eugene McCarthy double-crossed them. A politician uses his words to manipulate people and get elected. But what's a maxim of anything, street smarts or anything? Actions speak louder than words. Words are deceiving. So basically, we're in a system where a politician's going to lie and lie and lie and lie.
That's the way people get elected.
Yes.
I don't
Look
trust
at
any
Don
of them.
Baldeck, who sat right where you were on the Norm the Psychic show at least 3 times. You don't see people talking about that.
He was on. I don't even know Norm the Psychic.
I'm not gonna bring my director into this, and compromise him. I'm not sure what psychic activities General Baldock, Brigadier General Baldock, engaged in with Norm, but I've noticed that Fox News has promoted him to Lieutenant General, which just one of those
Fascinating.
things. Yeah. Well, what's a brigadier's just got 1 star, right? And yeah, so I think we are going down the drain, but might as well enjoy it. I used to go to the carnival and had that thing you'd get in, like the whirly thing, and then we'd go up on an angle.
Right. Is that the one where the floor drops out?
Well, they do have ones like that. Yeah.
I can't think which one you're talking about.
Some reason though, it's depressing me. Huh. Eric, do you have anything more to say? I know you have this about this fantasy about politicians being honest.
Well, I feel very blessed and honored that I spent all of my life in the state of Iowa, where we, in a way, and I'm not.
Is Chuck Grassley from Iowa?
Yes.
Is he going to win?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, my friends that are whistleblowers. Chuck Grassley's a conservative and sometimes right-wing, more than conservative Republican. But he is the godfather of all whistleblowing law. And most of the whistleblowing caucus are Republicans. Because Democrats...
He currently has a 7-point lead.
There's just a couple, that are in the caucus. None from New Hampshire, by the way. Yes, Eric, you were saying...
Chuck Grassley currently has a 7.2 point lead over Franken in the polls.
Al Franken?
No, Michael Franken.
Oh, any relation to Al?
I don't know a lot about Franken.
If he was our
so
age, you would have seen him on Saturday Night Live.
But yeah, Grassley's going to win, and it appears that our Governor Kim Reynolds is going to win. She's got like a 13-point lead currently.
Well, I don't mean to offend you, Eric, but my father said that between the two coasts, there's nothing.
Oh no!
It's just you just drive right through.
A lot of people have that opinion, and it doesn't offend me. What I was going towards is our voters in Iowa. We have so much on the line in regards to the farmers, and
or as we say here, we call them farmers. You call them farmers there?
Farmers.
It's like going to California. They say stuff like car. What's a car?
Farmers.
Yeah.
And the farmers are very involved politically, and if there's a political person that doesn't do things the way the farmers want, they will vote.
I didn't know I was on TV. Can't we see Eric? There we go. Now he's gone. I thought you were on camera, Eric, and I was making faces and making snide remarks. I just wanted you to know before you saw it on YouTube.
I saw it on the camera. I just kept going.
Yes, that's the best thing to do. That's the best way to handle me. Because we're not intimate. You can't slap me in the face like one of my old honeys where I had to give permission to shut me up. But you just keep talking over me.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why I love Iowa, is because we never have an issue with voter turnout.
Well, the only thing that I can remember that ever came out of Iowa was the movie Some Came Running, which is an underrated masterpiece starring Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Shirley MacLaine in their first Academy Award nominated performance as the proverbial prostitute with a heart. A heart, not a heart. A heart of gold.
A heart of gold.
Oh, I loved Shirley MacLaine. But we're not going to talk about that. Or Mary Tyler Moore. Or Elizabeth Montgomery. Or Doris Day.
We're derailed.
Doris Day. Well, do you want to talk about what's happening? These two turds are going to probably get elected.
Oh,
I don't
not.
think Stinky can make it. Stinky's actually good.
He was the one too that he was upset with a student for something, and he emailed
he
her.
harassed an 18-year-old a college high school student.
Yeah,
and then he had these right-wing fiends, these fascists, in my opinion. See how I learned from being sued. In my opinion, put pictures of her and her family. It's a thing called Granite Grok, who are notorious, in my opinion, liars. He's one of the, I'd have to say, between Joe Kelly Lavasser, who is Mephistopheles, this is Lucifer's towel boy in hell after he croaks. He's going to be doing many thousands of years there, and probably will enjoy every minute of it. There's a local politician who's not much of a politician in the sense that he only did one term and he's not interested because he's in his prime of life. Maybe in the future he'll become a mayor or something. And this guy's like 6'4", and Stinky's like 5.5 feet tall. He says he's the only human being that I ever met that looks down on me every time I meet him, and he just laughed.